Hey everybody, alvin1777 here, and I got a comment on my last video about like what changed the game, what new things have happened since he was away. He's been away since like probably before the Telonnet era, so I'm gonna start from the Telonnet era and work my way up from there. I'm probably not gonna hit on all the decks because I don't have all the decks. I'll probably touch base on them, like maybe like a couple of seconds, and then I'll move on. But yeah, so we'll start with Telonnet. Telonnet, I don't have Dad with me, and that's a shame. But I'm gonna truck on with this. Telonnet was a big format. I wasn't a part of Telonnet, so I honestly can't tell you how bad it was. But from the people who were there during Telonnet format, it was just really bad. I mean, running three of these and 2 Dark Arm Dragons with a whole bunch of sort of dark stuff that you can get back easily made these cards really, really good. These cards are still really, really good. It's just that they don't see a lot of play now. And since this is at 1, they really can't do anything. Though, they still have the FTK. The Psychics still have the FTK, but I'll go over that later. We also saw Salvo-Dat variants during the Telonnet format. It was most likely just because that you could splash Telonnet into pretty much anything during that format. Another thing that added Telonnet boost was Elemental Heroes, because Heroes had malicious, because Stratos can search out malicious Diamond Dude or Fearmonger, which are the ones you use in the deck most of the time. It gives you nice not up pluses with Destiny Draw being at 3 and everything. Gave it a nice draw engine, and it's just like a lot of stuff happened during the Telonnet era, and it was pretty good. Another thing that happened during the Telonnet era were plants. Even though they aren't as big as they are now, they're not as spammable. Still, it's a pretty good combination of decks and stuff. So let me just move these out the way, because I hit on these. Though some of these are going to be staying for a certain reason, for certain reasons I should say. Then came Lightsworn format. It was a Lightsworn / zombie format. Zombies ruled for like a year and a half, for like a year, even during the Telonnet format. Because remember, most zombies are darks, so they can get the pluses off Dark Arm Dragon too. And Lightsworn, they like, from what I've heard from the all Lightsworn format, they just wrecked everything. But like for some reason they couldn't top a Shonen Jump, and then like the before the ban list hit and crippled them a little. Well, I wouldn't say a little, crippled the deck a lot. They finally won that Shonen Jump. It was back when the format went back when Lumina was at 3, Charge was at 3. And you could spam a whole lot with it. I bet you if Lightsworns were still that way, it would be still be the most broken deck. You could still, like today, in today's meta, Lightsworns are like tier 2, tier 1.5, tier 2.5, depending on how you built it and what build it is. But yeah, Lightsworns and zombies during the 2008-2009 season, in between there, wrecked the format. So yeah, that's all really on that. Zombies still kind of do good now, but you have to splash them in with the Plan engine or a Tangu engine, which I'll get to in a second. So yeah, that's all on that. Flame Veils. With the introduction of Hidden Arsenal, we have most of the Flame Veil archetype. The only Flame Veil stuff that didn't come in the Hidden Arsenal set was Fire Dog, Rekindling, and Archer. But yeah, Flame Veils were introduced in the Hidden Arsenal, and this was around the time of Synchro Cat, which is also during the time of X-Sabers. X-Sabers were really big during that format, during that part of this format, especially since we started getting them. We started getting, first we got Arabellum, then we got, excuse me, trying to remember. Full Helm Knight and Fault Roll, and then Regigera, which you had was like a 4-card archetype. Then we got Emmer's Blade, Dark Soul, and Bogart Knight. So it was just like the whole deck took like a whole year. Not a year. 9 months to fully rate. And then you had Synchro Cat, which was pretty much get him, pitch a spell card, grab him, grab 2, tribute him, grab 2 X-Sabers, Synchro 1 into Arcanite Magician, blow up stuff, attack, and that one will just die. Rescue Cat is banned for a reason, and that's because that crap is too spammy. And you don't even have to get Airbellum. You could get like Raikou or another level 3 beast and Synchro into stuff. There's so many silly plays you could do with this card. And in Flamevell Cat, which was also during the X-Saber era, where X-Sabers just topped everything, Synchro Cat was also big because they had the Flamevell engine, which was Dog, Magician, and maybe Baby. I think Baby was still kind of out. I think Baby was out then. So yeah, you could throw a Baby in too. But it was mostly Dog and Magician. Get level H really quickly and protect yourself after you have a big Rescue Cat play. Lots of big things happened during that format. Then Rescue Cat got banned, and then X-Sabers went to tier 1 to tier 1.5. They're still a good deck to play, in my opinion. With Hidden Arsenal came in a release of different archetypes. This, for example, Naturias. Naturias by themselves, like, Naturias are weak, but if they're more of a lockdown deck. I mean, you can make the deck offensive, but you have to know how to. I mean, and you can splash them in with plants, as most of them are plants. You can splash them in. Oopsies. Naturias, I mean, I like Naturias. They're a pretty okay deck. I like the Cliff. I like the Cherries. I like Bamboo Shoot. And I would like Pineapple more if it wasn't so restrictive, but then again, it would probably be broken and make Nats one, so I can understand why they had to make the restrictions for it. Salvo Dad is another card. Salvo Dad is another deck that gets its power-ups. I want to say power-ups from Dark Arm Dragon, but even during the Synchro Cat format, it was pretty good, and this was much better when Dark Strike Fighter was around. Sorry about that, I fixed my computer. But it was better when Dark Strike Fighter was around because it was an instant flip. Like, let's say you set this, they attack it, flip, draw 1. Let's say you had Salvo, summon Salvo, grab this back in defense mode. They book and wound it. Hey, look, you get another draw, so you're fine. If they didn't book it, these are Hobby League, by the way. That's why it looks shiny. But I'm getting distracted with the shininess. Synchro for Dark Strike Fighter. Attack with Dark Strike Fighter. Use this effect to launch it at your opponent. Tribute it to launch it at your opponent. Dark Strike Fighter in itself was an OTK card. That's why it is banned. A busted OTK card. Some people wish they had the bet, but I honestly don't. I'm actually glad I wasn't at that format either. During the Lightsworn format, we have 1 of him and 3 of him. This card at 3 is busted. At 1, he's okay because he by himself is like Gores, and he's like a game changer. You know what you call damage calculation special summons. Like, let's say he had Stratos on his side of the field. He attacked. I dropped Chagodia. I take the 1800 battle damage, but now depending on what my hand size is, that's how strong he is. Let's say I had 4 cards in hand. He's at 2400 now, and let's say this was his only monster. Next turn, draw Cody's effect is busted, by the way. Pitch like a monster equal to the opponent's card's level, you get to steal it. So these 2 cards plus Gores, it's pretty much game. Chaos Sorcerer now is at 3, which gives Chaos Plant a whole lot of life. Though most people only run 2 of him because playing 3 is a dead draw. And in my next segment, I'll probably talk about dead draws, like how to have your deck avoid dead draws, but that's in another deck segment. Wise decision of putting him to 1. He's not that big of a threat, so he can be at 3. He's fine. Also, a deck that came alive recently last year, Gravekeepers. Gravekeepers, the spy engine was mostly for sorry, I'm having a hard time talking. The spy was usually mostly used for Synchro, the Synchro engine, because it was a spellcaster. You could use an Archetype Magician. You can do a lot of stuff with Descendant. Use this effect, pop a back card, summon Rescue Cat, tribute, get 2 Arabellums, Synchro for Archetype Magician. Lots of plays, but Gravekeepers by themselves now are a tier 1.5 deck to tier 1 deck, depending on who built it and how they play and their play style and everything else like that. Gravekeepers, I personally hate Gravekeepers. The only 2 I actually only use are these 2, and that's only because Spy's a flip effect. That's the only reason that I use the Gravekeepers. The deck itself, I personally hate it. If I had to go to a tournament with it, I will play it, but I will hate playing it. You see what I'm saying? If you see what I'm saying about that. But yeah, Gravekeepers are tier 1.5. They're a deck to watch out for because they will sneak up on you. A deck that got a boost was Fish. Fish originally was a terrible deck because you had to waste your time getting all this stuff out, and then finally when you're able to summon him, use his effect. Now, with cards like Oystermeister, Fishboard Blaster, Treeborn Frog being at 3 again, it is really easy to summon him. It's really easy to summon him in this type of format. And with all the token spamming and whatever, Fish actually became a tier 1 deck for a while, but now they just dropped off to like tier 2, but they're still good. It's just that you gotta know how to play them, you gotta know how to side in and out for them. Next deck that got a boost, Elemental Heroes. Elemental Hero had these fusions called Omni Heroes. Omni Heroes are fusions that have no specific requirement, but like the requirement would be like 1 elemental hero monster and 1 water monster, or 1 light monster, or 1 earth monster, or in some of the new releases, 1 fire monster and 1 wind monster. These are some of the examples. You have Elemental Hero Absolute Zero and Elemental Hero The Shining. The Shining you really only use in stun decks for the most part. Like Elemental Hero decks right now are basically more focused on stun or Gemini stun. It's actually one of the decks I've actually built. I actually found it to be reliable, but it's kind of slow. It's slow this format. Like last format, it was perfect for the most part. Most people who topped won because they were running Heroes. Stratos is still the best card, one of the best cards in the game. So yeah, that's all on that. The next 6 Samurais. You saw my previous video. If you saw my previous video, I won't have to really go over these again. This, and this makes Shien plus 2 free draw. Shien by himself made that deck busted as shit. For real. I'm not even gonna bullshit you on that. And then, not to mention all the other more support that they got. You wouldn't expect them to get the support that they did, but they did. And Samurai's a tier 1. That's a no-brainer, though. Now, Plants. Plants nowadays are just splashed. Now, not all the plants, mind. Like botanical line, nettles, copy plant. You don't see those anymore. You really don't see them anymore unless they're running that specific deck. What they do is they would splash in 2 Lone Fire Blossoms, a Dandelion, a Titanium, a Glow Bulb, and a Spore. Those I don't have right now. But what's so funny about it is that it works. I mean, sure, you can splash other plants in if you really want to, but the question would be, it would just make your deck more inconsistent than it actually is. And running like 5 to 6 plants is actually pretty good. Especially anything, especially in this deck. Tangu. Tangu plus any tuner, Tangu plus anything makes any deck really that good. Makes fish more busted than it should be. It makes, okay, maybe not every deck, but most decks, it makes them busted. It makes fairies busted for some strange reason. When I was playtesting with fairies, like one game, I just had summoned 4 synchros, plus had one of these still left on the field. How are you wondering I did this? This Birdman plus Hyperion and Earth. Don't even think about trying to get into how I did all that. But the deck Tengu makes some decks busted, and it makes some decks consistent. This card alone makes decks consistent. When I first heard about this card, it was like January of this year. I was excited. I was like, Tengu, this is gonna be awesome. It's gonna be busted as crap. And I wasn't fooled. In fact, most of the decks that went to Nats, Tengu. Tengu Plant, or Tengu TGs. They're the thing that won Nats. I couldn't blame them because Horn of the Phantom Beast plus this is broke. But yeah, the meta right now is just really big on Tengu plants and TGs. Also, I want to also bring to the forefront, well, I was talking about earlier, the Fairy Structure deck that came out, the one with Solemn Judgment. Yeah, they're tier 2. It's only because sometimes they need the field spell, sometimes they don't, and it's like sometimes they use Herald, sometimes they don't. It depends on who's playing the deck, who's make the deck, and whatever. I mean, this is just my personal opinion. Fairies are pretty good. I just don't like. I tried playing them and I didn't really like the play style, how fairies run. Especially since I used the Synchro base build, and I didn't think that was pretty good either. So you know. That's my opinion on that. So this is an update on the decks thus far. I haven't gotten to Exceeds because I don't have any Exceeds. I'm picking up the structure deck soon though, so that's it for that. Look forward to some more videos. For everyone here, alvin1777 saying peace out, and thanks for watching. And there should be some more videos up within this coming week. Peace out, guys.